What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and I've got a really cool video. Kind of giving out some nuggets here. Kind of debated on whether or not I wanted to share this technique, but I've got to do it because it's too good of a technique to share. So this is all about swing head jigs. This is a key summertime technique that I always use. There's one not rigged up. But it's just a football head with a some type of worm hook on the back of it. And this is something, guys, that I think it's overlooked. I think a lot of people don't quite understand what it is and how to use it. And I'm going to share with you how I like to use this bait. And like I said, it's a key summertime bait. You can also use it in the cooler times of the year as well, but I'm going to be geared more towards the summertime aspect of it because we are dead middle of the summer. It's 90 something degrees. Them fish are out there deep on the ledges and deep points and humps and all that great stuff. So this is one of those baits you've got to have and you've got to try out. So going through, we'll go through the hardware first, and then I'll kind of talk to you how to actually fish this bait. But like I said, it's a football head with some type of worm hook on the back of it. You can see that right there. And I throw two different brands of these, and one of them I feel like it's a little bit better than the other, and I'll explain why here in just a little bit. But this one right here is a Dirty Jigs swing head. This is lead, not tungsten. The other one's going to be tungsten, but this one is lead. And the hook is fixed to the head, so you cannot change that hook out. Still a great product. Comes with a EWG hook, super strong. You can get it from 3/8, half, and 3/4, and you can get a 3/0, 4/0, or 5/0 hook depending on what size bait you're going to be throwing. So super good. I think they got green pumpkin and black. I don't necessarily think that really matters. I'll throw either one, black or green pumpkin. Haven't really found where one's better than the other, in my opinion, but you can take that for what it is. But that's the one from Dirty Jigs. Like I said, the hook is fixed to the head, so can't change that out. The other one is from Strike King, and I will take this bait off real quick to show you guys. This is from Strike King, and this is their swing head, and it's tungsten. So immediately I liked it a little bit better, a little bit more sensitivity. Dang, if I can get this hook off of here. A little bit more sensitivity, a little bit smaller being tungsten, but it'll come just like this. That's Strike King tungsten swing head. And on the back of it, you can see, that's where I was trying to get that hook off there. All you do is take whatever worm hook you like, and you can take them and snap it onto the back of this thing, and it doesn't come off. I have yet to bend that out. I have yet to break it, anything like that, and it works fantastic. They're the same, green pumpkin or black, all the way up to 3/4 ounce. You will pay a little bit more for the tungsten head than you will the Dirty Jigs, but in my opinion, this is a little bit better concept to me because I can put exactly what hook I want on there. I'm not a huge fan of EWG. I mean, if they're just inhaling the bait, the EWG is perfect. But day in and day out, I like just a standard offset round bend worm hook. I feel like I hook up a little bit better than the EWG. That's just my personal preference. So I tend more often than not going with the Strike King swing head. And hooks, I use just a couple different ones. The Owner all-purpose worm hook is a fantastic hook, super strong. Get it multiple sizes, paired up to whichever bait you're gonna throw. And the other hook I throw is the Gamakatsu G Finesse hybrid hook. That's actually the one in this bait right now. That's a 3/0. I'll go through that setup here in just a minute, but those are really the only two hooks that I throw, and I just vary, 3, 4, or 5/0 depending on the bait. And that's really about it for the baits. If you want to go heavier, if you're fishing like super deep, Gamakatsu has their version a lot like the Strike Team one, that they actually offer a 1 ounce. So if you ever need something that you're fishing super deep, just know I would look at the Gamakatsu and getting a 1 ounce. But most of the time, 1/2 ounce and 3/4 will get you 95% of the time. So going into baits, really I've got 3 that I throw 90% of the time, and I don't really vary too much in the summertime. You're dealing with aggressive fish, fast moving, lots of action, and so I these 3 baits for me does it across the board. Right off the bat, my number 1 go-to is going to be the Zoom Z-Craw. The full size one, you can go to the Z-Craw Junior, but I found a little bit better bait if you're wanting to downsize, in my opinion. It's got a little bit more consistent action in that smaller package. But the full size bait, this is the Zoom Z-Craw, and again, I'm gonna pair this back up. This is a 4/0 offset round bend, and it just pairs up just perfect. This bait's got the perfect size, perfect action with those 2 flaps on the back, and that's just a dynamite package right there. Now, like all my videos, I'm gonna put it in the description of all the heads, the hooks, and the baits and key colors that I'm gonna throw. Talking about colors while I'm at it, Junebugs, plums, red bugs are all summertime staples. Anywhere you go across the country, the darker, Junebugs and plums, red buds like that, they just tend to get big bites. I don't know what it is, but those darker hues of colors get really, really big bites in the summertime. You might not get quite as many bites as if you throw just straight green pumpkin, but if you're looking for a kicker, you're usually going to get it on green pumpkin or Junebug and red bud, stuff like that. But second bait I've got is the Strike King Rage Craw. Everybody knows about a Rage Craw. This bait is something I'm going to pick up when those fish are just really, really aggressive. They're schooled up. They're actively feeding. I'm not moving really, really fast. I like to throw the Rage Craw, and if a little bit dirtier water too, because those big flappers are gonna move a whole lot of water. But that's on the same setup as the Z-Craw is. Strike King swing head with a 4/0. That's just a really fun package to throw. And if you're wanting to downsize, the one I have found for me that works the best is that Strike Team Scound Bug. That's the small one, the 3.5 inch Scound Bug. That's on the 3/0 Gamakatsu G Finesse hybrid hook. It's a little bit smaller diameter hook, but it's still plenty strong. But that hook allows me to downsize my line a little bit if I'm in a little bit clearer water, a little bit more finity fish. Maybe we'll step my line down a little bit and still hook up and still plenty strong to get it in. But it's got those 2 little flappers on the back, so it's going to tip perfect. They've got really good colors. So that's another, if you're needing to downsize a little bit, if you feel like your fish are a little bit pressured, clear water, I'd step down to that little Scound Bug right there. But I'll talk line and rod real quick, and then I'm going to talk to you how to actually fish this bait. Okay, so the rod I'm throwing on the 2 larger style baits, if I'm throwing the 1/2 or 3/4 and I'm throwing a full size with the big 4/0, all-purpose worm hook, I'm going to throw this 7.5 heavy Shimano Zodius rod. It's basically a jig rod. It's got a fast tip on it. but it's got a ton of backbone and something I'm able to, being a 7.5, I'm making bomb cast out there, and I've got plenty of backbone to set the hook way out there. If I'm going to the smaller package, with that little 3/0 G finesse hook, I normally throw like a 7.2 medium heavy fast action. You don't need a super stout of a rod to get that hook in there, and you're normally with this one you're throwing a little bit lighter line as well. So I usually don't throw this 7.5 heavy on the smaller one, but any of your 150 to 200 size reels is fine. At least I would say at least a 7-to-1 deer ratio. Even a lot of times I'll even throw like a 8-to-1 deer ratio if I'm really wanting to get some speed on it. But like I say, that 7.5 heavy fast is my go-to for the standard size baits, and I'm throwing, most of the time I'm throwing 20-pound Cedar fluorocarbon, the red label. Just a really good line, not too expensive. I don't break off too much. It's really good. If you need to downsize to that smaller one, you can go to a 17 or even a 15-pound line and still set the hook just fine with that smaller package. But getting into how you actually fish this bait, and this is where I think a lot of people miss the concept of this bait and what it actually is. A lot of people think this is just like a football jig in the aspect of you're just throwing it out there and just dragging it, and you might hop it up a few times and reel it in and throw it back out there. But and don't get me wrong, that does catch fish, especially in the cooler months. I have caught them doing that on this bait when they won't eat a jig and I just need a soft plastic, and I will just drag it along and hop it a little bit. But it's summertime, and that's not how I throw this bait this time of year. Think of your crankbaits. Think of your big swim baits, big scrounger heads. This is a moving bait. This is a reaction, cover water type bait. This is not a sit in the chair and drag a worm type bait. This is a power cranking type bait. I'm taking this bait and I'm throwing it out there, letting it hit the bottom, and I'm reeling it fast across the bottom. I want it bumping along, hopping over rocks, and just doing all kinds of crazy things. And those fish will absolutely come unglued, because this is just rooting around on the bottom, and it being a swing head, it's letting that bait just kick around and do all kind of stuff and hunt. And if you haven't done this, it is insane sometimes how hard they will hit this bait. I mean, they will come absolutely unglued. That's why you need 20-pound line and a big heavy rod. So yeah, man, this is, again, do not just think, hey, I'm gonna throw this out there and drag the bottom. You're missing it. I'm just telling you, throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, and start reeling. And as long as you want to keep bottom contact the whole entire time, so that's where you might throw a 1/2 ounce out there a little deep, say 15, 16, 17 foot, and it might not stay on the bottom the whole time. Go up to a 3/4 ounce, and you can keep that bait on the bottom and still be able to move fast. And it is, gosh almighty, it's one of those baits that I think, when I pull it to an offshore spot, most of the time, I would start out with a crankbait or a swim bait, because I'm able to just cover water real quick with it and see if those fish are going to be aggressive and eat a moving bait. Well, now I can actually start out with this swing head, because I'm able to just cover water and pick off those aggressive fish before I have to sit there and finesse with a little drop shot or a little finesse jig or something like that. But now this just allows me to cover water, get a reaction bite, and it's just straight up fun. Again, think of this as a crankbait on the bottom, moving, big line, lots of fun. Again, I'm going to put all this in the description. So you can see exactly the heads, the baits. I'll put a handful of colors to each one. I'll put the rod and the line, all that great stuff. So I hope this helped you guys out. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.